in a minute.
She's got it. Is that good?
I think so.
Now, where should we put this? For?
Okay.
You ready to go?
Ready to go.
Is that on?
No, not yet.
Don't worry about that. It's just a backup in case we forget something. We need to go back and listen again.
Well, you want to know, I sure I got my silver star when I first got that, or?
Well, let's start at the beginning. Wait a minute. My name is Kathy Lang. This is March 7th, 2003. We're in Harrison, Ohio to interview Jimmie Caminiti. Caminiti.
Cut it out.
Jimmie, tell us where and when you were born.
I was born down the west on 9th Street, the West End.
Cincinnati, Ohio?
Yeah,
What year was that?
1920. Pretty sure that's where I was born at.
And how did you end up joining the Army? Were you
Drafted.
were drafted? What year was that? Do you remember?
No,
Was it?
I was 20. I think I was just 20 years old, or just when you got a certain age, you had to go to the Army. I think I was around 20. I think.
Was it before Pearl Harbor?
Yeah.
So you were already in the service when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
So that was probably 1940. And you joined the Army.
Army.
Where did they train you for a certain job?
No, I just went over to Fort Thomas out there, and I got sent to a Texas outfit. I got a Texas outfit. That was it there. I got on with, it's like an infantry and a half track, like a truck, you know, had a 75 Hauser on it. And I got that outfit, so instead of walking, I got to ride around all the time.
So instead of walking, you were going to ride. Well, you were going to ride in the truck. Were you the driver or the gunner?
I was a loader.
A loader.
I loaded the gun.
So you were in Fort Thomas, and you got assigned to a Texas unit.
Yeah.
And when did your group get sent out? Did you get shipped out to Europe, to Africa?
I got Boston in my mind for some reason or another.
You went to Boston.
Yeah. There we went. And our ship went to Italy, Salerno.
So you landed in Salerno,
Yeah.
and you were an Italian kid.
Yep.
What kind of an experience was that for you to go back to Italy in the middle of the war? Do you remember how that?
Well, I got stationed there for a while. I got a pass to go to Sicily, see my relations. I wasn't married or I was single, and we never made it that far. It was two or three.
Could you speak Italian?
Very little. I said my mother, the only time they talk Italian, some secret. Wasn't supposed to hear about.
Did the Italian people look at you and think you were an Italian? Did they treat you like you were an Italian?
Yeah, I mean, believe it, you know, I was treated all right where I went. I mean, I went to Texas down there for quite a while. It didn't bother me about being Italian or anything. There we went to, I think Boston. I remember going to Boston, and then went overseas.
So now you're in Italy.
Yeah. The first one's there, Salerno.
You're the first ones there. What happened?
Well, we landed. There was 13 tanks coming at us. We was in a half track and a 75 Hauser, and the shell about that big. We started shooting at them. And they just stopped shooting at us, and they just gave up for some reason or other. There was 13 tanks there. I don't know why they gave up. I said it was young or something. They got scared, so that's how we got that 13 tanks there. They just gave up and stopped shooting and everything else.
So did you take them prisoner then?
Yeah, we took them prisoners. I mean, somebody else come and got them and everything. We kept on going up further up towards Italy, towards Rome. We was the first one to land in Rome. That was, I can't say I was single and had a lot of good times and everything.
So did you guys have a lot of, was a lot of battles from Salerno up to Rome?
We had quite a few of them, I mean.
So you had them on the run.
Yeah, had them on a run and everything.
They were ready to give up.
Give up and everything, so when we got to Rome, they gave up. So, we was in town there for a while.
Did you guys have a base camp set up?
No.
You were on the run. How
I
long
did.
did it take you from Salerno to Rome? You remember?
It was a few weeks, maybe a little longer. I didn't want any kind of stripes or nothing, because I didn't want to be boss or anything. I took a private offer. I could have been higher, but they didn't want to go anywhere.
You didn't want to be the boss.
No.
Well, that's good. When did you get the Silver Star?
When we landed at Salerno, that's the fighting, when we knocked them tanks out. That's what I got the Silver Star for.
So it was just one truckload of guys
Yeah, a half track.
and 13 tanks.
Maybe about a mile away, maybe 2 miles away, something like that.
Wow, that's kind of amazing, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It's still crazy why they gave up. I mean, they could have killed us right away, because, you know, all the power they had there. It must have been young kids or something that got scared and just gave up.
Did any of your crew get killed or hurt?
Not then they did, a few of them got hurt later on.
Now, before you were in Italy, were you in Africa?
Yeah, Africa first, then went to Italy.
Where did you land in Africa? Do you remember?
South Africa.
And then you had to travel across the desert.
Desert. Served me almost a year, I think it was. Then we went to, we got on went to Italy. Much I can remember.
So the battle in Africa, was that pretty tough?
No, it wasn't too much fighting in Africa. They gave up right away, it seemed like.
Was it Germans over there?
Yeah.
So you fought the Germans in Africa, and then you
Yeah.
fought Italians in Italy, or Germans in Italy?
Both of them, Italian and German. Mostly Germans were fighting. Italian had to fight, yes.
They say those Germans could be pretty tough soldiers.
Yeah. There must have been some young ones or something.
Well, you guys must have scared them, huh? Must
Had
have
to
been
be
ferocious.
I don't know why, but it was the first battle we had. I mean,
Was that your first combat experience?
my first combat experience.
That was,
Yeah. We was having a good time. I mean, we kept shooting that gun off.
were you the one that was firing the gun, or what was your job?
I was loading, I think.
You must
We had one guy shooting the gun, aiming the thing, and I was loading the shells in the thing.
Did you,
Faster he pulled the trigger, faster I can load it.
you guys were working hard, huh?
Yeah. It was a shell about that big and 75 houses.
Did you have support from the air or anybody to help you?
Not them,
It's just
later
you
on.
guys.
I mean,
And there were 7 of you in the truck?
I think it was 6 or 7 of us on there. It was like a half track. I mean,
In the half
top-
track. And how many Germans or enemy were over there? 13 tanks, is that usually two or 3 in a tank?
tank, you know, sometimes 4 of them. You have a driver and a gunner, and sometimes 4 in there.
So when you saw them there, that must have been kind of a scary thought.
It was. I mean, that's why I can't figure. We kept shooting at them. They shot a few shots, and they just gave up for some reason real fast. We couldn't figure out why.
They must have thought you were pretty ferocious.
And we thought there were more people there. So,
So what about North Africa? Did you guys, were you on the move the whole time across the desert, or did you have a base camp?
this is South Africa. That's all I can remember. Stationed at one spot before we went one part of South Africa there. We had a little training there, and then we went to Italy.
You got some training, and you
Yeah.
had, So you were in combat 200 days.
200 fighting. I did 4 years in the Army altogether. Actually, 200 fighting days, actually fighting about 2 years' time.
Well, 200 days is a lot of combat.
Yep.
That was, were you ever injured?
I wasn't exactly injured. I could have got a couple, I got bad air out of it. Shell landed pretty close. Can't hear out of this one ear over here.
It must have been pretty rough, 200 days. How were the conditions? Were you sleeping in tents and
Out this
on the ground,
sleeping in a half track. It was
eating food out of a can?
can, an old can.
No showers?
Nope. Every once in a while we get washed somewhere.
Well, it was hot. Was it hot or in the desert? I'm sure.
There wasn't a desert.
In Africa, it was.
It was hot. There was no desert. I can't remember a desert part. All I remember is South Africa going there.
When Italy, was it hot there?
Yeah.
So you didn't have to worry about cold weather, but it was still pretty.
One time I was told that the end of it got colder. It was in Italy.
Maybe up towards
We
the
got
higher.
towards Rome. I mean,
Mhm.
and we hit that battle when we first landed in Italy.
You must have thought you were in for it. First
Yeah.
day you land.
I mean, though we had a good time out of shooting them like that. And one time we was going along up on top of a hill, the Germans down on the bottom there. We started shooting, just be shooting at them. I mean, they gave up and everything, frankly. Just was shooting and killing them right away. We got a kick out of it for some reason.
Did you take a lot of prisoners?
Not too many prisoners. They was all given up before we got there, I mean.
So they were on the. You had them on the run.
Yeah.
They were ready to surrender.
A lot of things that ain't come back to me yet, but we had a lot of good times, I remember. I remember all the good things that happened.
Well, it's good to
Yeah.
remember the good things. You made good friends, didn't
Yeah.
you? The guys you were with.
Yep. Most of them was out of New York. A couple of them Texas, but most of them out of New York.
They stuck together and you backed each other up and
Yeah.
helped each other out, and
Yeah.
that's the good part. Did you lose any of those guys in the war?
Now, when I was with them, we all stood, we was all together. Nobody got hurt or anything. We were lucky.
You were lucky.
Yeah. One day I got this bad air out of it. I mean, shell landed pretty close.
So what happened after Rome? Did you get sent somewhere else after Rome? Do you remember?
I got sent back to the States. I mean, 36th Division got sent back somewhere, I don't remember. Can't remember.
So you were in the 36th Division?
Yeah, down in Texas. The 3rd Army, it was the 3rd Army.
Was George Patton in charge of you?
I think he was.
What did you think about your leadership?
We had a captain who was crazy, volunteered for everything. He volunteered for everything, you get credit for it.
Well, he must have been brave. Huh?
Yeah, he wasn't brave, he's
Crazy.
just crazy. I mean, he volunteered for things.
Did they ever ask you guys to volunteer for things?
I don't remember.
You had enough to do, huh?
Yeah,
Did people treat you pretty well in Italy?
I thought they did. I mean, I couldn't always speak it anymore. I never could speak it.
But you still had fun. You still
Yeah.
managed to
Yeah. Get around.
get around.
Yeah.
Lots of pretty girls around.
Yep. I wasn't thinking of getting married or anything. Figured you're gonna live, something's gonna happen sooner or later, so,
So you guys were living it up.
yep. In case anything happened, so, I wasn't missing nothing.
When did you know you were going to get that Silver Star? Did you guys find out later?
Later on, quite a while, I think.
Did you think you were a hero?
I don't think we were.
Lots of other people thought
Yeah.
you were.
Well, their idea. I guess we thought we were just fighting a war.
But you were responsible for saving the lives of your comrades.
Yeah, well.
That's important.
Yeah.
That was a good thing. You all
Yeah.
came out of it,
Yeah.
right? They all must have felt pretty good about your group there. 'Cause
Yeah, we got when we got kind of quiet down a little bit. We got a few passes. We had that battle there that time. That was it.
So you were in the half track the whole
Most of the time in the Army.
most of the time in the Army,
Overseas, yeah.
and you never really wanted to be promoted to be an officer.
Nope. Then you want to be a corporal. I was happy the way I was.
You just wanted to make it home. And
I got along better with everybody. You know, trouble.
so the best part about it was your group, your buddies and your
Yeah.
friends there, and everyone took care of each
Yeah.
other.
It's the captain. This is the only thing we had trouble with. He volunteered for things that we shouldn't be volunteer for.
So aside from him, you guys were a close-knit group.
I think we were.
Have you stayed in touch with any of those people?
For a while we did. All of a sudden we stopped doing it.
Did they have reunions? And
I'm a poor writer, so I didn't write none. I just stopped writing altogether. So
how did you feel about being in the newspaper and when you came back and you have people say you're a hero?
yeah, I don't know. Just laughed about it more than anything else. Anyway.
Well, it seems like it was.
Might have been, I don't know. They got me different things there, and I think it got me places they shouldn't have been. And out of doors. Especially carrying this thing around. There can people open doors for you. All that.
Well, you did an important job.
Yeah.
You did an important job. That was a time in history when they needed people like you. Did you ever worry that
That's something I didn't worry about nothing.
you didn't worry about whether we would win or
No.
what was going to happen if you couldn't beat these Germans?
I'm just happy-go-lucky. I mean, that's nothing to worry about for some reason or other. Just want to go out and have a good time.
You're just doing your job over
Yeah.
there. 4 years was a long time, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the Army altogether.
So when did you come home? Do you remember? 1944?
Somewhere around there.
Was the war still going on?
I think it was. Yeah.
So you were back here when
The war was still going on. Yeah.
you were back here when the VE Day.
Yeah, I think I was. Yeah, I got a bad memory. See.
Well, that's all right. You remember the important
Yeah.
stuff.
My daughter got that thing made up. She got all that together.
What are all those things on that board? Are those the patches you had on your uniform?
Yeah. One, the T patch is Texas, and the other thing was the 3rd Army Division.
And then there's the Silver Star. And then what are the other medals over there on the side? The red one. You see the red one?
That's like a purple one. It wasn't a Purple Heart. It was some kind of something I did. I can't remember what happened. But I got it for some reason.
Well, it must have been something important. You got a
Yeah.
nice medal for it.
Yeah. I remember getting it, but I don't remember why. But
Did they give you those medals right there in Italy, or did they come to you later?
it come to me later when I got back in the States.
So you didn't know you were going to get that?
Well, if it wasn't my daughter, I probably wouldn't have ever had that stuff now.
Well, she must have thought it was important like we do.
Yeah.
You're listed as an American hero.
Yeah.
That's not something most everybody can say. It was a rough time to grow up, wasn't it? As a young man, have to go through all that.
Yeah. And worked in the shoe factory for a while. As fruit and vegetable market stand.
Was that after the war?
Yeah. Remember my grandfather had a market stand on 6th Street Market. He had a 6-foot stand. I started out with. He had to help him. He was a big man. He got mad, he chewed it back and he spit it right in your eye. When he got mad.
So you were a pretty tough kid, weren't you?
I don't know if it was tough, maybe it might have been. Didn't act tough or anything.
So what do you think about your time in the service? You think it was worthwhile?
It helped out a little bit. I mean, I don't know if it was worthwhile or not.
It was a big time in history,
Yeah,
those 4 years.
I had a lot of good times. I mean, yeah, I keep saying I wasn't single, getting married, single. I was just single. My first chance to get out, first thing we, be 4 or 5 guys. I go try and find some girls. That was me.
I guess young men haven't changed much, have
No.
they? But 200 days in combat, that
Yeah.
must have been rough.
Yeah.
Bombs were falling
Shells laying there, you know what I mean?
and you're struggling.
You jump in the hole or you're behind your half track or something. Just, it's scary for a second and goes away and comes back.
Did you get used to it after a while?
I got used to it, I think.
You stopped worrying about whether or not you were going to get hit?
Yeah, right.
Just couldn't think
Yeah.
about that.
Just, you're gonna get hit, you're gonna get hit. Right. That's the way I looked at it.
Did your group, your division, see a lot of casualties? The bigger group? The 36th Division?
They might have, I don't remember too much about it. We was like a company by ourselves. 36th Division, we had, it was a cannon company they called it. It was all by ourselves, I mean. Wasn't that with the division?
What was your job supposed to be, your division, by yourself? Did you have a
Yes.
special assignment?
Just call us up if something happened, he knocked down, they call us there. You go up, start knocking out with this half track, and it had this big gun on it.
So they would tell you where they needed you
Yeah.
to support, and you guys would go and start
Captain, our
launching.
captain, he was a volunteer. He was a volunteer.
Yeah, that captain volunteered you again, so
Yeah.
you guys were up there.
He, a lot of places we should have been, he volunteered to go there. This
You said
It
you
was-
went to Rome.
Rome,
Was it bombed very badly when you got there? or-
no,
So the city wasn't
no,
destroyed, it was
No.
still pretty much.
yeah.
What about the rest of Italy? Was it like big craters in the ground and
There wasn't too much of that when I was over there. I got shipped back home, I think. I forgot how long I spent in Italy, but some things you come back, some things, I don't like to remember anything. I have nightmares at night.
do you still? I guess it probably was, for a while, really hard to
Yeah.
forget, wasn't it?
Like I watch movies sometimes, war movies. I have a nightmare at night. I still watch.
Well, I guess it's back there somewhere in
Yeah.
your memory, and it's
Try
still
to
hard
watch
to think
places
about.
you've been and think you can find.
Surprise you that it still causes you nightmares after all this time?
Yeah.
Must have been pretty rough, Jimmy. Well, you did your job, that's for sure.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's better to think about the good part. Be easier. Well, we're very grateful for what you did.
Yeah. Well,
Glad you're still here to tell us about it.
that's the main thing.
We think that it's important for people to know the sacrifices that people made,
Got a few aches and pains from it now. I mean,
I'm sure.
that's why he was in bad shape. I mean, first arthritis, now they call it.
So when you got back home, did your health bother you a lot after the war?
No,
Not really? Not until you were
No.
older?
started getting old. I went to work at market stands and hit them. Made a few dollars there. My wife helped a lot before she died.
Well, your daughter must have been really proud of you because she made that wonderful collection
Yeah.
of your stuff there.
I remember her, me and Mark, I remember about her. She was telling a story. Oh, what?
Well, we thank you for coming out and talking to us about it.
All right. Anytime.
Thank you for your service to our country.
Yeah. Still had a lot of good times in the Army. You can't squawk about that.
Yeah, for a young guy, I guess you did.
Yeah. I came out and got married with a gun shock, I keep saying. I got married right away.
That's what a lot of them did.
Yeah, I was going to my wife before I went in the Army. Wow.
Did she write you letters when you were over there?
Yeah, I didn't write too much. Everybody else wrote.
Did you get any letters?
Yeah, quite a few of them.
That make it easier? Was it nice to get letters?
Nice of you.
Did you ever get anything else like candy or anything from home?
No, never got any of that.
Was the food pretty lousy?
Sometimes it's good. I said, yeah, the canned food.
Somebody told me that in Italy, if you wanted to buy an egg during the war, it cost you $10 for one egg.
I'm thinking it was pretty high, I remember.
So you had to really pay a lot to
That's
get a
right.
few nice things, didn't
Yeah.
you?
You had to pay a lot of money for buying things. The Army, they have that canned stuff. I mean, every once in a while you got a meal.
Got sick of that, didn't you?
Yeah.
When you were on leave, you got to go to Rome. You said you were going to try to go down to Sicily. And
I tried that.
didn't make it.
Didn't
Did
make
you ever meet your relatives down
I don't
Never
see
did?
it. Just in Sicily, my father came from Sicily. I wanted to go over there, but different things kept us from going there.
there? Didn't make it.
We had special passes to go there and everything else, but
Well, that must have been nice. How'd you get a special pass?
Captain Givett, knew we had relations there.
Somebody else in your group had relatives too?
Yeah, there's 3 of us, I think.
3 Italian guys?
Yeah,
Sicilian guys, you mean?
probably were.
And you were going to head down there and
Yep,
got distracted, never did make it.
never did make it.
Did you get to see a little bit of Italy, though?
Yeah, saw pretty much of it. I mean, Salerno and all that.
What did your dad think about you being over there? Did he want you to go look up his family?
I think my father was ill when I went over. I was in the Army. No. But he from Sicily, because you remember, I told him he was going over there, but he was I think he died.
He might have died while you were gone.
Yeah. My mother, she was happy-go-lucky to me.
It's kind of like you. You must get that from them.
Yeah. My father weighed 135 pounds today.
Well, that was an amazing time to grow up.
Yeah.
Wonderful, amazing experience for a young man.
Yeah, seen a lot of Italy. I never probably see Africa or none of that part. I would never see probably.
No, you probably wouldn't have thought to go there.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell us?
Not offhand.
Betty, any questions?
I was just wondering, did you get to drink any of the Italian wine? And
Oh, I didn't drink that wine.
No, now.
No.
You didn't drink any wine?
I wasn't allowed to, I was too young.
Oh, listen, I don't know if we're gonna believe that.
Yeah. Drank too much. That's why I don't drink now, I guess. Drank so much over there.
So it must have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good Italian wine. Anything else?
That's all. I'm just awestruck with that silver star. It's just first time I've ever saw one.
Yeah.
I know your daughter is so proud of you. The children are. And we thank you. I
Yeah.
thank you for.
Did you ever pin that silver star on your uniform and wear it? Never did?
I don't think I did. I didn't get that. I came back out of the Army, I think.
So they send that to you later.
Yeah. Had a little, like little pins, you know, at war, yeah.
So you did a good job.
Yeah.
You were a good soldier.
Try to be.
Thanks, Jimmie.
That's it.